So I lied to you in that last section. When I talked about production possibility frontiers, they don't look as simple as this. So when we talk about individual people and we talk about budget constraints, it's a straight line, right? Because the trade-off doesn't change. The price of hamburgers and the price of bus tickets doesn't change. Similarly, the way that I drew this here, the trade-off between producing guns and producing butter doesn't change, regardless of where we are on the production possibility frontier, which is kind of a terrible assumption, right? What we have found, what economists have found writ large, is that production possibility frontiers are actually more like production possibility curves, PPCs. So instead of being something that is a straight line, it is something that is bowed outwards like a quarter circle. And the reason for this is when we're at a place like this place, right? So let's say instead of guns and butter, let's do something more realistic. Let's do healthcare and education. So if we were at this situation where we spent a ton of money on healthcare and not that much money on education, getting some extra healthcare when we're already in this situation, it's like trying to squeeze an already juiced orange. There's no more juice there. Like the resources, the people that were best suited for doing healthcare services, they're already working in the healthcare sector. So at this point, you're trying to like convert schools and teach teachers how to be nurses and all sorts of stuff like that, right? So what we find is that when we get closer to the extremes, the trade-offs increase dramatically. So that's what we're showing here, that, you know, if we're already at a ton of healthcare and not very much education, trying to squeeze some more healthcare by moving along the curve this way is just not going to give us very much, right? It gives us this tiny little amount here compared to how much it takes away from education, right? That more than halves the resources that were previously devoted to education. So it's just the fact that when we get to the extremes, it's more difficult to find resources that are well suited for it. And this whole notion, the reason why this is downward sloping has to do with an important law of economics. And I think I lied to my class yesterday because I told them we don't have any laws, and here I am with the law of diminishing marginal returns, right? We have a law which is responsible for this. So it's called the law of diminishing returns. And the law of diminishing returns states that as additional increments of resources to producing a good or service are added, and here we're going to have another jargony word that I'm going to define in a second, the marginal or incremental, the extra, you can usually replace marginal with extra, the extra benefit from those additional increments will decline. So this is just a general rule that we have observed in economies over the last couple hundred years. So the common example for this is also, you know, the first slice of pizza brings more satisfaction to you than the fifth slice of pizza. The additional utility from each unit of good declines. Questions on the PPC and the law of diminishing returns? So your PPFs/PPCs will always be curved out, while your budget lines will always be straight.